right, this one is called How This VTuber Taboo is Slowly Fading Away. Let's dive in.
They're saying, if anyone happened to figure out what kind of restaurant I worked at or whatever, I don't get in trouble if you mention it, because it's my contract, it's not yours, so I don't get in trouble, but my mods will ban you.
Don't think it. Don't say it.
As long as it's not in my chat, my comments, it's okay. But in here, don't, because I'm not trying to get in trouble.
Don't say it. Don't think it.
There's a lot of things that we won't be discussing because legalities.
Don't say it. Don't think it.
We don't talk about awkward.
Don't think it. Don't say it. 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 Don't think it.
Don't say or think what?
VTuber past live.
Oh my god.
A custom prohibiting or forbidding discussion of a particular practice or association with a particular person, place, or thing. While not indicted by any government law or legislation,
Wait, that's illegal.
these are customs against certain activities, and violating that taboo is seen as a transgression. Whether it's profanity, sex, religion, anything about the prevalence of minorities, or premarital hand-holding, taboo culture limits many subjects, but there's a desire for many to break the taboo, and when the transgression and taboo depend on one another, the subject enhances.
Talking about like VTubers' past lives. So, you know, like when people like, you know, graduate and then debut as a new model, to not talk about their past lives. It's been like a major taboo, but as time has gone on, it has become more norm for people to kind of like mention their past lives. Because to be honest, it's kind of shitty, right? It's kind of shitty to grow an audience and then graduate and then just like you are expected just to like restart and just start from scratch. Like that just seems really shitty to me.
This is the community culture. If y'all know me, I love media. And there's an evolving media subculture with its own customs, ideals, and experience. Far different than the mass media. VTubers, online entertainers who use virtual avatars instead of their faces, have many taboos to keep the experience, immersion, and kayfabe of the industry. Let's list off some examples. Immersion breaks, which is like showing your face or doing IRL content, used to be considered taboo by some VTuber fans because this wasn't being a true VTuber.
Did I just catch you having fun?
Nowadays, you'll see a bunch of VTubers IRL doing that type of content. Dating was a taboo because some people wanted a VTuber to be theirs and theirs alone.
Shut your bitch ass up!
Politics.
That one's still real though. That one is still really fucking real and really creepy. That people treat VTubers. Oh god, what is the term? What is the what are like the bars and stuff? What was the It wasn't like, what are the bars called that are in Japan? Where they're like, yeah, hostess clubs. Yeah. Like they treat VTubers like they're going to a hostess club. And it's really fucking awkward. Oh man, I'm the Lord of the 13 Simps, yeah. They call me Senpai. Why? Why would you do that? Senpai! So true. Yeah, it's really awkward, right? It's really awkward that people treat that stuff.
Not a big fan of the government.
Which is its kind of own controversial subject, and this topic's taboo, which is probably the most complex. VTuber past lives,
China
mentioning and or
changed you.
sharing them.
Just calm down. Don't do it.
Or is that always the case? With the absolute state of the VTuber industry, this taboo is beginning to change and completely fade, for better and for worse.
Do you feel like the VTuber community has like been changing a lot? Granted, we're pretty new to it, right? Like we're pretty new to like the VTubing scene in general. I have seen a lot of what he's talking about, where people are showing their face more, they feel comfortable about it. You know, it is like quote unquote lore breaking, but at the same time, it makes everyone's going VTube. Yeah, there is a lot of people going VTube. I mean, because to be honest, VTubing has its perks, right? It does. You never have a bad hair day. You never look tired. It's really more about your performance and what you bring as a person than your physical looks. And I agree. I think since COVID, like, VTubing has definitely become more mainstream by far. Yeah, they never wear pants. You didn't wear pants even when you were a flesh tuber? Yeah, I just like flashbanged you guys.
So when I said I wanted my women pixelated, dream come fucking true. Senpai.
Oh my god, that was so cursed.
But stop right there.
Run that back.
Just in case, do not start digging into other VTubers' personal lives or harassing them based on the subject of this video. Some of y'all are grown adults.
That's not a kid.
Just be respectful, it ain't that deep. Without
Wait, people are grown adults? They could have fooled me and anything on Twitter, right? I mean, what's the next level? Hentai bars? I mean, I think we're a few years away from that. You know, I think the first step is a VTuber bar, Gio. I think that's the first step. Honestly, I think it's probably about 5 years off. I think in the States, it's about 5 years off from being a VTuber at a bar. Because effectively then you are kind of in a hostess type of situation, right? I think hostess bars will probably become more popular and more common as time goes on here in the States too.
the way. Let's talk about it. Hey, it's Selena, that fallen angel kicked out of heaven. Get some snacks, get some water, get that dog in you, and let's get on the video.
I know you like my style. Nasty, gritty, looking pretty while I crack a smile.
How about I explain to y'all what a VTuber past life is? Enter person A. Person A might be a content creator, idol, singer, voice actor, or VTuber who's interested in joining a VTuber agency. That previous account is considered a past life or PL. Hypothetically, person A joins Hololive and becomes VTuber A, now doing their primary activities in the corporation. Technically, these two are the same fella. Person A is just playing the role of VTuber A. But in VTuber terminology,
that is not correct.
Person A and VTuber A are considered two entirely different identities or lives with no public association. And here's where the taboo comes in.
And it's so fucking weird. To be honest, like, there's some weird things. Like, chat, I shit you not. People, like, everyone's graduating right now, and it's like, oh, wait, we're graduating? Oh my god. It's May. People graduate school, right? And then some dumb people have been messaging others on Twitter to say, hey, you know what? Can you use a different term than graduating? Because it's confusing. It's just like, no. You dumb bitch. No. Like, that person's graduating with a master's. They're gonna fucking be like, I graduated. It's so awkward. Like, it's interesting that the VTuber community is becoming more mainstream, but I think there's a core that are really holding on to a lot of the older values that make it different, but some of them just need to kind of evolve. So they suffer from multiple personalities. We knew that. Do you think Samuel L. Jackson has a favorite VTuber? I hope. I hope he does. I really hope he does. John Cena, granted, he follows everybody, has been following a ton of VTubers lately.
Do not mention or share anything about the association or the past details. If VTuber A is streaming, do not mention the previous account person A. Moreover, if VTuber A leaves the company and re-debuts, do not mention the past.
I asked you, who this on that name? I don't know.
Why is this a taboo that's been relevant for years? Well, many VTubers put up a persona, and many would rather focus on their current content. Out of respect for the talents to focus on their current endeavors, people would keep talk about other personas and accounts on the down low. Some people have info from their past lives, like their faces, photos, places, and even personal experiences they don't want the mass to know. Some of it even being doxing or life-threatening. Enter countless situations in media of stalking because someone figured out a personality's details. While yes, what you put out online also puts yourself at risk, people also have the right to have that not dug up.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
If the past life has controversial behaviors, statements, or opinions, digging that up creates unwanted drama. The most notable instance of this is ex-Hololive member Mano Aloe, where after her past life leaked, people found comments of her criticizing company restrictions and work culture while mentioning other popular agency VTubers, leading to a massive anti-war and her eventual graduation.
Oh, shit.
Talking about the past life is risky because of contracts. Several VTubers sign an NDA or non-disclosure agreement. This prevents certain types of info from becoming public, such as sensitive documents, trade secrets, and communications. And why does no one want to risk an NDA break? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you signed a contract! Breaking the NDA means one risks losing their job or in other industries being sued to the fucking ground. So many would like.
Yeah, it's usually being sued to the fucking ground. It's usually being sued for damages to the company that when you're working for a multi-million-dollar company can frankly destroy your life because you wanted to mouth off and do something. So like, yeah, like NDAs are nothing. It's hard to enforce an NDA, but they are still there. And if the company is willing to go through the legal troubles, they can fuck you pretty bad.
Like to stay in their lane and avoid trouble. And depending on the corp, if a VTuber dives too deep in the waters, then...
Oh, this guy's fucked.
Hit that shit, Johnny! Lock his ass!
You want to sign up for our brand, have people follow you for you, then potentially leave and direct away from us?
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face.
Agencies don't really like talk directing away from their current VTuber because the current VTuber is their IP. It ain't your VTuber, it's our VTuber now. VTubing widely invokes the ideals of kayfabe.
So I think this is just my personal take. I don't understand the desire. I mean, I get the immediate growth that you would experience being a corpo VTuber, but the fact that you don't own you, and that if you ever left, you're fucked, right? And that's why, like with Doki Bird and a couple others, right, that this taboo is kind of going away, and people are kind of testing the waters and be like, yeah, that was me, that was me. Because why would you want to, like, if there was a reason why you wanted to leave, say it wasn't a very good experience, they weren't supporting you, you know, insert million other reasons. You don't want to lose what you've built. Even though you've been financially supported by a company to help build that, it's still, they're there for you. They're not there for that company. At least at the end. Maybe in the beginning, right? Like if you're a Vsojo fan, you're going to go support a new Vsojo, you know, VTuber, but you're not going to stay because they're Vsojo. You're going to stay because you enjoy the personality. So that's where, I don't know, it gets really weird. And that's why I don't see the benefit of joining one of those major companies, is because, yeah, you don't own anything that you're building, which is awful. That's the opposite of what you want to do. That's what you do in your normal life, by the way. Like, when you work for a company, if you're a designer, or if you're an artist and you're working for a game company, you don't own anything you're working on. That's someone else's IP. So you got to think about it the same way. The reason this taboo exists is because the growth belongs to the company. What you build is technically what they pay you to build. True, they pay you to build it, but your personality is what pulls them in. It's not the company's, right? So it's a symbiotic relationship in a lot of ways. You're effectively getting to do what you love, but you're getting propped up by money, and money can buy eyeballs. And that's one of the hardest things to do. But I don't know. I don't personally see the value in building something for somebody else. I think that's where I'm trying to go with this. I'd want to build it for me, not for some other person to make them richer.
Or the idea of presenting stage performances as genuine or authentic. For some fans, talking about past lives can be seen as a break in immersion. Imagine watching a cute VTuber cat girl and finding out that in her past life she used to be the colossal titan. If she busts moves like this, then damn, count me in.
I'm fucking eating. I just.
And that's some reasons why people would rather keep the taboo. Now we gotta understand, many fans of any mass media personality obviously wants to know more about their fate. What brought them to their current occupation? What did they used to do? What do they look like if they aren't headlining the face? Fans like these fellas, and there's this lingering desire for many to know more than what's on the surface. But
So I think also the aspect chat of mystique is a good thing. So, but I think that's up to the person, right? And I think that's kind of where we're going now, is that people are showing their face more because they want to, but other people may never show their face. And that's all right. I think it should just be up to the VTuber. And I think because VTubing is becoming more mainstream, it's inheriting a lot of the values that content creators have had for years. Do what you want to do, see if it works, but you don't need to have an Oshi mark. You don't need to have a debut. You don't need to do anything. You could just start as a VTuber, say fuck all those traditions, and just do whatever you want. They don't matter. It's fully up to every single content creator how they approach their content. Not because there are traditions, right?
for the VTubing industry, that was under wraps because of the taboo, and this would remain strong for multiple years, commonly done not just to protect the culture, but to protect the VTubers' endeavors. There was always this layer of disrespect seen towards people who would openly reveal or supposedly dox anything about a VTuber's past life, so past lives were never openly discussed on public platforms.
You know, what's up? I found out 2 people I know are actually moderately famous VTubers. That's cool. That's awesome. If I'm being honest, I only like VTubers because I hate looking at somebody's face when I'm trying to watch podcasts and video games, and there's so few streamers who just don't use cameras anymore. True, honestly. I mean, the reason why we did VTubing is because I felt that I could be more of myself, and without the risk of someone associating my face with my like professional life, right? Like that was my reasoning behind it. I was like, you know what? I really want to say things and do things, you know, and talk shit about game companies and just, you know, insert whatever the fuck I want to do. So I want to split those 2 personas. And honestly, I love it. Frankly, and on top of that, I don't have to fucking, you know, do my hair and shit. Well, that and your 90% hair, true. Yeah, I mean, like, chat, you think my VTuber model is like, oh, hey, look at this great. That's my fucking hair. It's just, you know, not dyed red. This giant mess. I have more. I have more than this. It's fucking insane.
The main place you'd see discussion about it was on message board.
Also, I think not discussing your past lives also help a lot of these really scummy companies to not be found out because they're posted on NDAs or they want to keep things under wraps. Like, shitty companies hide behind contracts constantly. That's what they do. And that's why you have to read every contract that you sign with a fine-tooth comb. Because contracts are not really there to protect you. They're there to protect the company. And they're there to fuck you while paying you some money. Thank you for the hydrate.
Hell, even some subreddits have rules around sharing past lives, and that's just always been the culture. Some liked it, others hated it, the fans got in line regardless to support. And this subject's pretty different from other mass media where people would always mention their past roles. But the view on the past life culture and the transgression of the taboo would slowly begin to change. But before that, quick thank you to our Patreon members. And a special shout out to Archangels, Lihaho Listra, Luminous Cove, and Serene, and of course all of you for making this channel possible. Like the video and subscribe to the channel because only a small percentage of viewers.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Damn, he has actually... We'll go back to that.
Let me tell you what's possible. Like the video and subscribe to the channel because only a small...
Chat, that's not a bad conversion. Having 20% of your watch time from subscribers is not bad. Like, honestly, mine's about like, I would say 90-10.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Let me tell you where I believe the cracks in this VTuber taboo date back. At least the most notable story, 2021, when a beloved VTuber made a new debut. Welcome back, K-Sa.
Good morning, motherfucker!
There is another shorty out there by the name of Kiryu Koko, a Japanese hololive talent widely known for bridging the gap between Western and Eastern audiences with her bilingual ability, humor, and personality. With its own massive wave of controversy, one of the most popular VTubers graduated in July of 2021, bringing tears to VTuber and entertainment fans. But very shortly after Koko's graduation, another VTuber by the name of K-san announced he'd be returning to streaming, and K-san,
Don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it!
sounded very familiar. As such, K-san's return took the industry by storm, many fans rooted from the love of other creative endeavors. However, there were two sides to this reveal. One side was happy and supportive that the talent was quote-unquote back and accomplishing her own path. Another side was disappointed that it wasn't the same or even upset that the talent left the previous occupation. Regardless, the return—
That's always so weird. That like weirdly parasocial behavior of like, I'm upset that you're doing something for yourself. Like fuck you. Like kindly.
of previous personalities began a common rule. Don't talk about the PL and the VTubers chats, servers, and streams, but anywhere else?
Perhaps.
If you said it in their space, you'd have to get banned.
If anyone happened to figure out what kind of restaurant I worked at or whatever, I don't get in trouble if you mention it, because it's my contract, it's not yours, so I don't get in trouble, but my mods will ban you.
But the taboo hadn't completely hit the fan. It was still heavily frowned upon to directly say this VTuber used to be this other VTuber, as what were their boundaries? Was that what they wanted? Was that doxing? So you would see people phrase shit like this. This fellow sounds very familiar. Do you know? Do you know? But recently, you've seen that narrative change. Or rather, you've seen the taboo on many occasions.
Oh yeah,
completely
Doki
broken.
is probably
Drama
the
and
famous
news
one,
channels
right?
directly linking past agency and current indie VTubers. Clip channels mentioning past identities in the title of the VTuber they're clipping. Hell, VTubers openly talking about past life experiences, or agency VTubers using past life accounts to assuage speculations. The culture around the taboo completely shifted. So what happened? I contribute 3 VTubing events this VTuber taboo shift. Let's start with the good shit first. Welcome home to VShojo. Over the last year, VShojo welcomed 5 new VTubers, 4 of them being a unique experience. And yet the Genius, K9 Kura, Matarakan, and Michimochi Eevee. All of these VTubers sounded— yeah, I'm not doing the sounds very familiar bit anymore.
You think it's so funny, huh?
They were previous
God.
agency VTubers. Similar to the reveal of K-san, people were massively ecstatic to see the reveal of those well-loved personalities. But the reveal wasn't the main culture shift. Some of these VTubers would make references or jokes to their past lives.
What do you mean again, Mr. Dr. Kuro?
What, you got a f***ing nail in your head? You can't understand what I'm saying?
Damn, why are you asking me so much? You f***ing trying to detect something, eh?
Be careful, you don't want to die again.
Or talk about previous experiences in those last jobs. The good of VShojo and the stories of the past made fans question a lot about that past life. Regardless, VShojo has changed a lot of VTubing culture with their new hires, and that's why last week I discussed how they transformed VTubing forever. Go ahead and check that out.
Open your mouth.
Next, some VTuber agencies suck. There are a lot of stories of past life VTubers coming—
I would say that most do. Most of them have just insanely predatory contracts that it's like almost the best way to think about this is like esports. Esport companies that produce esport content, right? Or esport players. Name a company that doesn't suck to work for. I mean, VShojo sounds pretty cool, honestly. But the best way to think about this is esports. Esports came around, was a brand new thing. People were very passionate about it. They wanted to grow. They wanted to be experts in those fields. But yet, there were companies there, and honestly, there was not one that didn't take advantage of them, that utilized their expertise that they garnered over the past couple of years and then just fucked them. You can look at Blizzard and how they honestly just screwed over their whole events team, which is including esports. There was plenty of esport companies that were paying people pennies. Pennies. And they were like, oh, it's the passion. So I feel like a lot of companies are kind of like taking that same route of like you like weaponizing your passion against you and being like, oh, don't you want to earn minimum wage and stream? And then you give us everything else? They're like, yeah.
Coming out about horrible VTuber agency practices. Past Akio Air members coming out about a plethora of horrible shit. Aurora Live VR had practically every dip, and several past members.
Wait, let's go back. Let's see what this says. So, Akiro Air, mistreatment and mismanagement. I mean, that seems to be kind of like a standard one for most of these like agencies, right? Abuse and harassment, constant threats of lawsuits. That's healthy. Hiring and extorting a fucking minor. Oh shit. Okay.
Plethora of horrible shit. Aurora Live.
And here's the crazy part too. And like Ninja Sanjay is a very good example of that. Ninja Sanjay broke so many laws in the countries of the people that they employed. But yet they were probably so inept and they probably just didn't understand the legality that there are just so many lawsuits brewing from the Ninja Sanjay shit. Because like what they did to Doki, because she lives in Canada, some of the things were illegal in Canada. And when you're hiring somebody, and it depends on how they classified them, right? If they're a contractor, if they're a full-time employee, I'm assuming they're a full-time employee because most likely that is their full-time job. They most likely paid, insurance for them and all that kind of stuff, which means that they have different rule sets than a contractor. So, but a lot of these companies don't understand international law in where these VTubers live, right? Like when you hire a contractor for a long period of time, you have to be incorporated in those states. Especially when you pull them from a contractor to a full time, you have to have the ability to hire somebody full time in that state or country. It can't just be like under the table. So yeah, I feel like that's where a lot of these companies that are just like random companies that pop up have no understanding of the legal side of any of this other than like the $5 lawyer they hired. I will just say it. These corps are very scared of Australian VTubers. We have actual government bodies dedicated to screwing over people abusing contracted positions. Oh, I mean, in California, there are limitations on contracts. So you can't have a contractor. I believe it's more than like a year and a half or 2 years. I forgot what the limit is, right? That if you have somebody on your payroll for more than an extended period of time and they're a contractor, then they have to have a mandatory cool-off period. And that's why people would like jump from say like EA and they'd go to Activision and then they would do something else. We take labor laws very serious over here too. Yeah. How you doing, Starlight? Welcome back. So I definitely feel like these companies are there just to take advantage of your enthusiasm and your drive to want to build something. But like back to the point that I was making, unless you get to take the persona that you made and that is you're getting screwed over. Like you're absolutely getting screwed over. But some people accept that, and that is their choice. It is a country and countries where you can freely screw yourself over if you so desire. Like no one's gonna stop you. And I think that's where these companies like thrive, and right in that little in between.
VR had practically every dip, and several past members warned people to stay away from the company. Mysteria Live. Can these people stop being weird about minors? There are a lot of agency controversy. Oh look, walk the jump scare. Definitely the worst out of everyone. But how the hell did these agencies...
Hey, let me go back.
Controversy. Oh look, walk the jump scare. Definitely.
Actively maliciously doxing, horrible working conditions, favoritism and mistreatment, and psychological, physical, and sexual harassment. Holy shit. My God, these people need to talk to lawyers.
the worst out of everyone. But how the hell did these agency stories come to life other than any dumbass announcement made by the companies, the massive sharing of the VTubers' experience through their past lives? The most notorious instance of this is with Zion Lands' story, where after being terminated, Sayu Okami released a document telling Zion Lands' side of what happened at Nijisanji, relaying incompetent management, further context on violations, and several areas of mistreatment directed towards her.
I've heard nothing but just terribleness about Nijisanji. Like, holy shit. If I was an investor in Nijisanji, I'd be pulling out immediately. Or I'd be forcing the fucking CEO, who is just honestly just a giant shitlord, to step down forcibly. Because he's actively harming the company. Whether through direct or indirect ineptitude.
If a VTuber graduates or gets terminated without relaying their side, regardless given the shitty hand, well, have their past life promoted and available for their return. However, it still wasn't actively encouraged to share all types of past lives. Then a Selen Tatsuki incident happened. Obviously can't dive into everything, so if you don't know, watch some other videos on the subject. With that out of the way, with a lot of questionable buildup behind it, on February 5th, 2024, Nijisanji announced Selen Tatsuki's termination with the 3-page document that—
This one was fucking crazy, by the way.
Like lambasting and blaming her for their reputation loss and mismanagement issues. However, Doki would reveal her side only after the company response. The most highlighted response being, "I will not be silenced anymore," and many other factors that would further spark a huge controversy against Nijisanji. Then Niji hosted that black box stream, which—
oh my fucking god.
It's not just a VTubing disaster, it's an entertainment—
I feel like, though, the people that were in that black box incident, I'm curious if they can be a VTuber outside of Nijisanji anymore. Like, it's either they were forced to do that, and they were either forced to do that, which I think that is kind of the major theory right now. But if they weren't, they're pretty fucked, right? They're pretty fucked. Because I think as a whole, the whole community of VTubing, while having so many different types of VTubers and backgrounds and just styles, all collectively have told Nijisanji to go fuck yourself. Like, I think that's pretty obvious. But Misty, how are you doing? Yeah, we're watching how this VTuber taboo is slowly fading away.
Industry disaster that has harmed not just Nijisanji's reputation forever, but anybody associated with the subject.
Yep.
Like, several fans wanted to do everything to support Doki Bird. They emphatically broke the taboo and came out to share her story en masse. And now she's doing amazing things as an indie. I believe her journey, current impact, and what she's accomplishing now with her goals is a story of wonders. Who knows, maybe there's a future video out there on her industrial takeover. These are what I believe demolished the taboo culture. Sharing past lives has become way more enacted than in the past. Is that a good or bad thing? A blessing in disguise or a curse?
Oh, I think it's good.
I asked Twitter something about the matter. Would it be for the best if the past life taboo disappeared? First, thanks to everybody for giving me their thoughts and positions, as well as both sides to the subject. Here's the rhetorical argument for each side, and I'll be acting out each one. Not gonna lie, the sanctity of hiding the past life is kinda weird. I mean, do most talents even care?
We do not care.
Why would the past life account be found media if VTubers wanted to completely hide it? Why wouldn't they delete everything if the past life wasn't some kind of safe net? If shit hits the fan, that's an avenue for that past life connection. So I'd argue understanding the past life is better, not just for the worst circumstances. Knowing the connection allows fans to appreciate their fave's journey and to follow them no matter who or where they are. VTuber agencies may not be the ideal path for everybody's creative endeavors. Like, look at the numbers, this industry ain't looking good.
A 2-pack of ass.
It really doesn't help that countless agencies have been exposed for incompetent, shady, or utterly exploitative practices. Whether black or not doesn't matter, people aren't being properly valued.
Yeah, I mean, they're exactly like esport companies, to be honest. Like, any emerging industry is going to have a lot of bad actors before it has a foundation of semi-decent fucking people.
Maybe the future is being an independent creator. Maybe the future is owning one's own brand.
Sorry to stop again. Is it like people are they just coming to that realization now? Like, that's how every content creator that is not a VTuber approaches it. It's not a corp thing. It's not an esport team thing. Like, they have sponsorships, yeah, but it's not like, oh, I must join. It's not, there's no MCMs anymore, right? I saw when they tried to get Bodies to quit his degree for $40K a year playing the P word game. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's those companies are just absolute trash. And they think they're doing you a favor. And that's how they act. They're like, oh yeah, we're doing you a favor. We're giving you this money. It's like, you know that you can, I mean, granted, this is California right now, right? You could go work at Burger King right now and make $20 an hour. Just throwing that out there. So that's more than most esport kids make. And frankly, content creators.
And management and operations, at least surrounded by people that value you for you.
So he's better than you?
Yes.
And stacks more paper and gets more hoes than you?
Absolutely.
So we need to show that we support the VTuber first. Not just the character or role they play, but the personality and content they show for the world. Kind of unfair for all that hard work to just disappear. Like some VTubers who left VTuber agencies talk about how they fear previous fans not finding their reincarnated brand or past life account. Not everyone is a popular agency VTuber who can leave and reincarnate with a dedicated fan base. A lot of people just fade into obscurity. So maybe it's for the best that some people talk about them in circumstances, to make people aware of what's going on, for no one to be lost, for everyone to be found, just in their respective places. Don't mention it in the stream's chats and shit. Anywhere that doesn't open them up to liability.
No one breaking boundaries after all. No, like I'm okay with that as long as it's not in my official spaces. Yeah. If anything, I think it can be nice so that people can find me again, you know? Oh yeah. Low-key, you helping me. I ain't gonna you helping me if you do that. So I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like, hey, you allowed to do it, just don't do it in here, you know?
Look, I get it. There are cases where it's necessary, but I ain't so sure about the taboo completely disappearing. There's a reason that discussion around past lives has always been taboo, and not just because of agency or cultural tradition. It's too volatile. Doxing, stalking, harassment, we have seen countless times where appearing in the past lives created a talent problem. And why should you dig into someone's past life? Mind your damn business.
Go business then.
Yes, some performers don't care, but if someone does, that's gonna create problems. Obviously, agencies like Hololive be looking clean, yet others may be happy in their jobs despite the problems. Business is business after all. Until someone publicly announces they want to leave an agency, that discussion just raises speculations. So why plaster the past publicly? Can't we just focus on the present experience? One other thing. Do y'all know how intrusive media entertainment fans are?
You need to log off!
If PL discussion becomes more accepted, well, goodbye to basic etiquette. Why should they be coerced to confront anything they don't broadcast just because some VTuber fans can't stay in their lane? Are you still friends with those from your previous job? How do you feel about the controversy? Why'd you leave your dedicated fans?
Shut your bitch ass up!
I even factor in how there are some people sending hate and harassment to agency VTubers in the pretext of wanting to supposedly save them.
I got the strangest offline.
That's very weird. That's people are just really, really odd. I mean, to be honest, like, some people just really need help. Like, holy shit.
Streamlabs thing was like, I'm doing this for your own good. How do you know what's good for me? Are you my mommy? These people don't even know who I am, but claim to want to know to do the best for me. You've never seen me before. What makes you think bullying me out of my job is gonna do?
And before one says, we'll support your new account, were you supporting them then or now? Yes, when the worst happens, give them their voices. No one deserves to be silenced. But removing the taboo completely is going to open up other problems, and we've seen that happen. Let's just respect the wishes and etiquette for now. The taboo around past lives has been revolutionized. The transgression didn't deny the taboo's existence, but rather transcended it. You saw two sides surrounding past life discussion being normalized. I personally believe it's a case-by-case basis that deserves its area of respect from both sides, but what do y'all think about this topic? Let me know in the comments below. However you feel, remember this. Everyone has a past, and everyone has a future waiting for them they can't even fathom. No matter where you are, indie or agency, everyone is on their journey to succeed what the gods ordained for them. No matter what, respect and support the creators you love, no matter what phase they are in.
Today's a good day.
But hey, let's not think my previous past as heaven's angel.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm falling for a reason.
You better stop!
That was good. That was really good. Here, let me link the video to you guys. That I really enjoyed that, actually. More than I thought it was. What is your guys' thoughts? Do you think that the taboo that's surrounding past lives is justified? Do you think that it's something that needs to kind of wither away in the past? Personally, I'm kind of on the it should evolve and it should expand, and you shouldn't have to be afraid of talking about things. Like that whole aspect of getting smacked in the face by meat and chickens. But that whole aspect is like so weird to me. And I think there's just some like oddities about VTubing that as more and more people come in, it's gonna change. You know, it's no longer this small niche thing. Since COVID, it has expanded so much. And I think that's a good thing. You know, and with that comes growing pains and change. But we record these live on Twitch. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It could go either way. True, it could. I mean, I think people are going to be people. And I think that people are going to have parasocial relationships. And I think, unfortunately, that's not really going anywhere. If anything, I feel like that part's going to get worse, with more and more people feeling more isolated as they get older. And, you know, I think that content creators as a whole need to be safer and really think about the things that they say publicly and make sure that they protect themselves. But again, like Doki is a famous example of that, where, you know, these companies are just shitbags, frankly, and they need to be exposed so people understand to not go there, and, you know, to not be bamboozled by money to go into this position that is going to harm your mental health or just be bad for your career. It reminds me of the whole machinima. Yeah, right. It's very much, it's like, this is like the machinima debacle happening now in like the whole MCM thing happening now in VTubing. VTubing's like, what, 10 years behind normal streaming then, really? Because MCMs were like the thing a long time ago. If you weren't part of an MCM, you couldn't get a lot of things. You couldn't get support in a lot of different ways. And people kind of grew out of that and realized that they didn't need it. So if somebody doesn't want to bring up the past and that people need to respect that, I think that's where it gets hard, right? Because you can tell people, hey, you know what? I don't want to talk about that. And I think that people, and specifically depending on the streamer, right, and their personality, could be bullied into that, into like accepting that people are, you know, wanting to talk about it. And people have a really hard time standing up for themselves. They really do. They really, really do. And I think that people have to learn how to set boundaries. And if they don't set boundaries, they're going to continue to get like slowly crept upon until they feel really uncomfortable, and then they won't know what to do. And I think that's kind of just part of growing up and understanding how to set those boundaries for yourself. Wouldn't be surprised if they're the same people behind the scenes. I mean, honestly, it's probably a lot of the same people, right? There's always, for every industry, there's always going to be someone to take advantage of you. Whether you're naive or wishful, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be people that are going to want to take advantage of you. And hopefully people learn from others' mistakes to not go down those same routes. Because like, why would you give a company 20 or 30% of your profits when they're not doing that much, right? Like that was like the famous thing about MCMs. MCMs barely did shit for you, but yet you were giving them part of your ad revenue. Why? Why not? Just free money for them. And you got things that cost like peanuts. You got access to like songs and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But people didn't know. People didn't understand the inner workings. Stream taking 30% of my profits to not even advertise my game. Yeah. But yeah, guys, we record these live on Twitch. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Make sure to come say hi. Make sure to go follow on social media, Twitter and Discord, all that jazz. Come say hi to the community, and I will see you in the next video.